everybody. Welcome back to the Abundantly Rooted Collective. I am Hannah. I'm a life coach. I'm a military spouse. And today we're going to talk about goal setting. I'm so passionate about this because I feel like goal setting is something that a lot of people have a terrible relationship with, primarily because they utilize January 1st to be the day that they set goals, and 2 weeks later they find themselves not reaching those goals. Now things come up in our lives, right? There's things out of our control, but there's also a lot that's in our control. And I want to give you some practical tips to help you create goals that are lasting, to create the possibility in your mind that all the things that you really want to do are possible. And it might just take a little bit of strategic planning. So if you're like me and you like to plan, whip out your planner and a notebook to take notes, because your girl's going to give you some really solid nuggets here, and I don't want you to miss out. So first of all, this is something that I just started doing the last couple of years. Gabe and I actually sit down and make goals together as a married couple, but then I sit down and I make goals for all the areas of life, let me just tell you. So there's a few different aspects. There's personal goals. So within personal goals, I look at my spiritual health, my mental health, my emotional health, and then I look at the areas that I really want to grow in. Maybe I'm like okay at some things, but I really feel like I need to grow in an area. And then I look at the daily experience that I'm having. So that would, for me, that looks like routines. Are the routines working? Are the things that I'm doing on a daily basis, are those setting me up for success? And then I look at the weekly experiences. What am I doing weekly that is helping me out, or not helping me out? Like basically just kind of like an evaluation of these areas of my life. So that's in the personal. Then I look at health and fitness. So I look at my nutrition. I look at my exercising. I look at the things that I'm doing to better my physical health. Then I look at environment. So basically what my home is to me, the things in my home that are benefiting me, the things in my home that are not benefiting me. And then I look at the relationships in my life. Do I have anybody in my life who is draining the life out of me, who is toxic, who is using me instead of investing in me? That's something that can happen a lot with me, just because not that I don't love investing in people's lives, but a lot of people can take that for granted and take me for granted when it comes to investing in their life. And then they only want to talk to me when they need help, or they need some encouragement, or they need some wisdom, and they're like, coach me, Hannah, coach me. And I'm like, but I'm your friend and I just want to hang out and have fun, right? So some of those things I have to really look at. So relationships is a big one. But within relationships, that's your marriage, that's your family relationships, that's your friends. Then I look at business and professional life. So this is my goals with my business and where I want to take my business in this next year. This is what I do every year, so I'm just clarifying that. But I do look at my goals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So that's something else to consider when you're looking at this. So we'll dissect this a little bit. First, the first thing that you need to do is write down the goal. So for example, for all of the categories, how do you want 2020 to feel to you? How do you want it to look? What do you want it to look like, right? So I'll say the areas again so you can write them down. Number 1 is personal. And within the personal goals, you're looking at your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your growth, an area or areas that you really, really feel like you need to grow in. Then you look at your daily experience and your weekly experience. What needs to change about those experiences? How would you be more effective in those experiences, and write down the goal. So that's the first step, right? So let's go through these a little bit more in detail. So for spiritual, what do you want your spiritual life to look like? Your mental health and your emotional health to look like? What areas do you crave that growth, right? So for me, spiritual health, I really want to be listening to a sermon every single day. It really like starts my day off well, along with getting into the word, the reading the Bible, and reading a devotional that I have. I have several different devotionals, and I will share my devotionals with you and my like Bible study products with you in a different video, but that's something I really want to be consistent in because I do notice that it makes a huge difference for me in the trajectory of my day. It really does. So, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to miss a thing. The goal in making goals is you want to make a goal to be productive, right? And so that's great. Be productive. But at the same time, I encourage you to think of this as creating a goal that will make you feel productive, but will also make you feel peace. Not a goal that makes you feel like you need to rush to check it off the list, right? I am not creating a spiritual goal of getting into the Bible and listening to a podcast or a sermon because I need to check it off a list. It feeds me, it feeds my energy, right? So your goal should be surrounding this idea of how can I get the most energy out of my goals. The reason why is because if your goals drain your energy, you're not going to want to do them and you're not going to be consistent either. So, health and fitness. Does this look like you need to check your nutrition? Does this your girl can't speak. Speechless, literally. Okay. Do you need to eliminate toxins in your home? Do you have tons of chemicals in your home that you want to get rid of? Do you want to live a more non-toxic lifestyle? Do you want to work out more? Does that look like working out at home more? Or does that look like joining a gym? Or does that look like getting an accountability partner to work out with you? Does it look like going to the doctor and getting blood work done because you know something's not right in your body and you need to investigate it and you need to do that for you, for your physical fitness and health, right? Environment. This is huge. So what do you want it to look like in your home? What do you want it to feel like in your home? What do you want it to smell like in your home? I am somebody who really appreciates aesthetics. If you come into my house, it's very bohemian and I want it to feel homey and cozy. I got 1,000 blankets, okay? I got like 5 blankets right here and I got like 5 blankets on the couch. Blankets galore, you know, and one thing that is still hard for me to let go of is candles. I love my essential oils, but every once in a while I love lighting a candle. So I tend to look for the more non-toxic candles that are not going to add to the toxins going into my body every day because you guys, we will do another video on toxins. So much we're about to learn, all right? So bear with me. Okay, relationships. Eliminating toxic relationships. Looking at your relationship with your spouse, what needs to improve. Do you need to connect more? Do you need to have a date night? Do you need to physically connect more? And I'm being a little vague, but I'm telling you that's important. Do you need to emotionally connect more? What kind of goals do you want to make as a couple? Do you want to achieve something together? Do you want to do something together to keep that connection growing and thriving? What is it with your marriage or your spouse or your significant other that you really feel you need to invest in order to invest in your relationship? Your relationship with your kids. This is important too. I'm not a mom yet, but I will be, and this is something I really want to focus on creating goals around as well. Spending one-on-one time with your kids, doing things as a family, creating memories for your kids. What is it that you feel like you want to do more? Okay. And your family relationships, your in-laws. Do you have a not so good relationship with your in-laws? Do you need to have a conversation with one of your family members to relieve tension so that you will eventually be able to have a healthy relationship? What does that look like to you and what needs to change? Business and professional life. Do you need a coach? Do you need a mentor? Do you need somebody to help guide you through your goals as far as business or professional life, or even in life? Okay, that's what I do. I am a life coach, and sometimes we need somebody to come alongside us and kind of walk us through these processes so that we can effectively go about it. Sometimes we just need somebody else, an outside source, to show us that it's possible and to give us a strategy to get there. Okay. So, in your business or professional life, do you need to shift your focus on what you were intentionally working towards? Do you need to create new offers? Okay, so that is the first step. You go through those categories, and then you write down what is it. And if you need to pause this video to write these things down, do it. If you need to go back and write and listen to it and write it again, do it. I told you were going to need a pen and paper. Okay. So that's the first thing, is to write them down. The second is to write down an action. So you've written those things down, and do this in order for me. So write these things down and create the goal. Pause this video, do that, come back, right? Now you're going to create these, you're going to write them all out again. So the personal goals, the health and fitness goals, the environmental goals, the relationship goals, and the business and professional life goals. And then this time you're going to write down what type of actions do you need to make in order for your goals to come to life. So for example, if I needed to work out more, okay, how am I going to do that? I'm going to work out twice at home because I know that I can't always get to the gym. And then I'm going to work out 3 times at the gym. And these are the classes I'm going to go to. Create the action. What is it that you are going to do to put this goal into motion, right? It could look like, okay, I need to create more offers in my business. I need to get more creative in my business, and I need time for that. So I need to block out this amount of time in order to do that. Okay, what needs to happen to make your 2020 vision come to life? You know what it is, just write it down, right? So for each of these categories, write as many action points as you can. Try to think in your head like anything that could possibly push you towards the goal that's an action, write it down. Then the third process is taking responsibility of your time and saying like, okay, so I have these goals and I have these actions, and now I'm going to give them a deadline. What I encourage you, oof, did you hear that? Your girl's still sick and I just sucked down a booger. Gross. Okay. Start with 3 main areas. For example, okay, in my personal goals, I want to focus on my spiritual health and my emotional health and my growth. Okay, or no, I'm going to do this. Spiritual goals, mental goals, and daily experience. Those are the things I need to work on. So for the spiritual goals, I wanted to get into the Word more, read a devotional every morning. I wanted to pray with my husband every night. I wanted to listen to a podcast or a sermon every day. Okay, so I write that down, and I write down, when am I going to do that by? When am I going to start this goal, and when is this supposed to become a habit, right? So by next week, I want to have done this every single day and create this new form of habit. And so you do that. And some of these are daily things, so it's not necessarily a deadline, and that's okay. And then, so for my mental health, I want to work on really affirming myself that I am safe and I am healthy and I am protected. And that's something I need to say over myself every day. Okay. For daily experience, I need a morning routine and a night routine. Those things are things that I thrive in. So I need to create a morning routine and a night routine. And that's more practical, right? So morning routine and night routine, by this day, I need to create my morning routine and I need to implement it by this day. Same thing with the night routine. Is this making sense? I hope it's making sense. Also, if you have any questions or you want to ask me a question specifically about goal setting or anything like that, feel free to jump in the comments and start asking away, and I will be responding to you guys personally. get a little bit of a life coaching session for free, my friend, in the comments, please. Okay, so you start with 3 main areas. So I'm going to start with my personal, my health, and my relationships, right? And in those 3 areas, I'm going to look for 3 action steps that I can make towards making that goal a reality. So it kind of looks like this. Goal number 1 is spiritual health. Action steps are here. Due date is here. And you write them down. And every day of that, and give yourself a deadline of like a quarter. So cut your year up into quarters and focus on those 3 things for the first quarter. Make new goals for make 3 new goals for the next quarter, and so on and so on. And that's how you get to achieving the goals that you are setting out to do. When you have a lot of goals, but you want to do them all at once, that doesn't always work. Why? Because we get so overwhelmed with having too many things to do that we just figure, forget it, throw it in the towel, and I'll try better next year. And we forget that every day is a new day, and you don't need to wait till the next year to do something about your goals, right? So that's the thing. 3 goals, 3 action steps, due dates, right? And break them up into quarterly things. So first quarter, I'm going to focus on these 3 things. Second quarter, I'm going to focus on these 3 things. Third quarter, I'm going to, focus on these things. Fourth quarter, I'm going to focus on these things. Okay, now, in order to do this effectively, we need to evaluate our days and our weeks, right? So, and we need a plan, right? So if you're not a planner, then it might be hard for you to achieve your goals because it takes action and it takes strategic planning if you really want to get to the point where you achieve all of those goals. Utilize 1 day per week to plan out the entire week. I love doing this on Sundays. I love resting on Sundays, and then Sunday night, I go to town and I'm like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. These are the things I'm focusing on, and these are the things I'm going to implement in order to be successful this week and to get closer to achieving the goals that I want. Then, 1 day a week, you evaluate the week prior. I like to do this on Fridays. Today is Friday. I'm going to be doing that today. And let me tell you, I'm going to be like, girl, you did all right because you were sick. But like, this is what needs to happen next week in order for us to like make up for this last week. And then the last thing you really want to do is you want to focus in on bringing awareness to the things that could set you back. Is it not waking up at the same time every morning? Some people need to have a routine where they literally wake up at 5 a.m. every day and they do the same thing every day, because if they don't, then they're never going to get it done. And then the more and more you don't commit to yourself, you're teaching yourself that you are unworthy of your attention, of your action, of your focus. And that is going to get you nowhere, my friend, when it comes to goal setting, when it comes to even like, I don't know, dreaming or creating, right? And you can do these things, you can set these goals without being a super creative person or a super huge planner. Just because you don't like to plan doesn't mean you can't plan. And I want to debunk this, okay? I'm sorry if you're an ENFP and you like to fly by the seat of your pants. That does not mean that you cannot have structure to how you live your life. It is a choice to have structure, just like it is a choice to communicate, right? We have a choice to do that, and we get to choose if we're going to put some systems in place to help us get to the next level, or if we're just gonna do however we feel that day, right? There's something to be said about feeling the peace of having a free-flowing day, like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And part of that, though, is planning, because you need to know what brings you energy. You need to know what brings you like inspiration and motivation. For me, it's listening to a sermon every morning to light a fire under my behind and be like, all right, let's go. And while I'm doing that, I'm doing other productive things. And so I'm listening, but I'm like doing all these productive things. And then by the end of the podcast, I'm like, I just cleaned my house. I just did my dishes. I just did my laundry. And let's freaking go and get the goals, right? So what is it that you need to do to invest in your energy in order to use your time effectively? Here's the last tip that I'm going to give you. I'm giving away a ton of free stuff right now. I just want to let you know. When you work with me, we will literally customize all of this to you. And then you have me to keep you accountable, which whenever somebody asks me to keep them accountable, I always ask them if they're sure, because if they're not sure and they ask me, I don't think they'll realize how much they're committing to really having an accountability partner, because I am like relentless when it comes to reminding you who you are, what your goals are, what you need to focus on, and let's go. I was born to be a coach, so put me in. Okay, so I just lost my train of thought because I was getting pumped. But what is it that you need to invest in yourself in order to make these goals come to life? The first thing is taking care of yourself, and you need to make sure that you are not placing yourself on the back burner, even if you're a mom. And this is something that I hear a lot, and I hear it from moms as well, and I don't want to be super like in your face, like, this is a lie, because I haven't been a mom yet, right? And I sometimes will have my nieces and nephews over, and I'm like, woo, this is busy. This makes me, I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly feeding and playing and helping and all the things when it comes to having kids in the house. But if you don't feel like you have the time during the day, you wake up an hour before those babies wake up. Wake up an hour before, and then when they go to bed, stay up for an hour or two after, and do the things that are going to invest in you. Because if you're pouring out and pouring out and pouring out all day long, not only do you have babies, but you have a husband and you have some friends that are like needing from you, you are going to deplete yourself. You will not reach any of your goals, and then you're going to beat yourself up for not doing so and not being able to do it all, right? Find the time for you to invest in yourself, because you are worthy of doing so. And when you invest in yourself, you can actually give a lot more. Like this morning, I don't feel good, but I'm fired up because I've been listening to podcasts. I've been nourishing my body. I've been being productive, and I feel like I can give you this energy because I have first filled it up in my own self. Does that make sense? So, you will crush 2020 if you are strategic, right? If you are strategic about what is it that makes you feel at peace. That's something that I'm constantly looking for, right? What makes me feel at peace, what makes me feel relaxed, but at the same time, what makes me feel like I just conquered a bunch of stuff and I have things under control, recovering control freak right here. So anyway, I love you guys, and I love popping on here and having this channel and this outlet to kind of connect with you. So please like, share, and subscribe. Share with your friends, comment below, ask me questions. I'd love to chat with you, and I would really love to see how this benefits you. So if this helps you, please like it, but also screenshot any of your strategic planning and send it to me. If you're not already following me, follow me on Instagram at AbundantlyRooted. And I love to get to know you. So, have an amazing day. Get cracking on those goals. You're going to crush 2020. I just know it. All right. We'll see you guys later.